Texas Latinos, acércanse. We need to talk. Because this week we had really important elections that took place at the local and at the state level and even national level, right? Senator, hello. That was interesting. Hello, Dallas County. But that's besides the point. I have already made one decision, but I need your feedback for the second. And first, I got to tell you the whole point of this channel, Lumina Aula Digital, which means Lumina, right? Luminous digital classroom, was to provide basic civic information to the Spanish speaking community here in Smith County. See, we're super conservative here, one of the most conservative counties in the state of Texas. And the Latino population keeps growing. But what doesn't grow is voter participation. We have so many who are born here, who are citizens, who can vote, but choose not to vote for all kinds of reasons, which I could get into in another video. But my focus here has been targeting mothers and grandmas because they are the most sacred figure in a Latino family. We all know. And again, that could be a video into itself. If you're Latino, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you think you might know, but you really may not know. But that's besides the point. What I am trying to say is my target audience have been the moms and the grandmas, and I have done everything in Spanish because there is a gap. And I know moms and grandmas have a lot of influence over their children, their grandchildren, their godchildren, the kids they watch while parents work, who may not be biologically related, but who are still family in many ways. And if we can support their understanding, then that's going to trickle down to all kinds of people. I mean, think about it. How often do the families get together for carne asada? But we also have another problem. We need to build confianza. We need to build trust, and that takes time. For many candidates that I have noticed, a lot of the hustling and media messaging started to come a couple weeks before the elections. And that's no different than showing up to a birthday party on Mexican time. I need you to look at it from that angle. More important than showing up on Mexican time, because even then we can understand that, right? But when it comes to improving the Latino vote, we actually need to move beyond that because that is limiting us. Instead, what we need to focus on is developing confianza. And confianza is trust, and that takes time. In an era of misinformation, a lot of people are turning to social media. They're turning to podcasts. They're even watching news here on social media. They're having conversations with families because they're having a hard time figuring out who they can and cannot trust. And this is a channel that is neutral. I don't care what party you belong to. I don't care if this is your value or that is your value. My focus is to simply pump you up to want to register to vote and to actually go and vote. If we could do those two things, then hey, mission accomplished in this channel. But maybe my audience doesn't need to be just Latino grandmothers and mothers. Maybe I need to start doing content in English, right? So let me tell you my decisions. My first decision is I'm not going to focus only on civic information, civic learning for Smith County. My goal was to do that and improve the Latino vote so that if it's successful here, this is a model that can be replicated in other counties that are conservative with a growing Latino population. Because your girl works full time. I love my job. I like what I do. I enjoy the work that I do day in and day out. It's not practical for someone like me to go door to door knocking and talking to people. I don't have that kind of time. And I'm in perimenopause. My heart, no. When a girl needs to nap, she needs to nap. However, what I can do is I could actually reach more homes through social media. I could reach you in your car, in your living room, even in the bathroom, cuando estás haciendo tus sagradas necesidades como Dios manda, because sometimes you're not in there for a quick minute or two. Sometimes you got to be in there for a while. We know it. We know it. So this is the medium in which I choose to share information that informs and that educates folks out there. So instead of focusing in Smith County, now I'm going to extend this to the entire state of Texas, because on TikTok, I have over 3,000 followers. Heck, I think I might even be hitting 4,000. That's how quick the channel has grown. But I know the majority are not residents of Smith County. And in Facebook, well, I think I have maybe 600 followers. I can't remember. It's not 1,000 yet, but I only started all of this in December. So I know there is interest, and I know the algorithm has a way of connecting us. Now, YouTube is lacking, but I also know YouTube likes a certain bougie way of doing things that is meant for YouTube. But I'm using YouTube as my archive of videos that I upload into TikTok and Facebook because, if this works, again, this can be replicated. And no one is funding this per se. I have been blessed in having my viewers who actually donate coffees for me, which, by the way, you can do if you click the link on my profile. So major shout out to you guys because it helps compensate me not only for my time, but for some of the subscriptions that I use and the equipment that I have invested. But it's not going to be enough because one thing that I have learned is I can download who voted every single day in Smith County. I could see your names. But what I don't want to do is racial profile and look for Spanish last names or Spanish first names and assume, oh, you must be Latino. Because let's think about it. That's already flawed in its approach. Not only that, but there are women who get married and who take on a different name that is not in Spanish. So there's a lot of data that's masked, and there's just a lot of assumption that's made that would lead to bias. And a good homie showed me that there are data banks that are out there that one can use to get this kind of information, but all of that costs money. And I don't have that kind of money. So I thought, maybe 5,000 might be enough to at least get the subscription. Or not even that, just compensate me for time in script writing and recording, video editing. Because it's a one-woman show. It's just me, my Samsung 23, and on occasion I have a good microphone, or you see me recording in my car. I'm going to keep doing this whether you guys donate or not donate, because that's just how I roll. But what I do need from you is actual feedback, because the second change that I am contemplating that I have not decided is whether or not I'm going to continue making content exclusively in Spanish, because I see the value in reaching out to abuelitas and moms, the matriarchs of a family. But I also see the advantage of being able to provide a service to the community, to the nonprofits, to the activists, to people who work on campaigns, who are trying to figure out the Latino community. And no, I'm not a political consultant yet. And I say that because I see exactly what I'm doing and I could see where it can go. And let's be honest, I'm not shy and I'm bossy, but I have a big heart and I care. So I could see myself doing some workshops, presentations, things like that. But that's not my focus right now. I want to be able to have success in this social experiment and be able to retell it and share it with the world. Because I need you guys to understand, if you look at all the Latinos inside the United States, we're the 5th largest economy. California is 4th and Texas is 8th. And there are 2 ways people can vote. You could actually vote in the election booth, and you can vote with how you choose to spend your money. But we don't need to talk about money right now. But in this channel, we will, because economy is important. In fact, if you follow me on Facebook, you see that I actually have images and text that I publish often. And one of those images has a little avatar that looks like me, but way cuter and younger and thinner. And when I launched the channel, because I barely launched this in December, I put Fe, Familia, y Frijoles, because for Latinos, faith is important, family, but also frijoles. And I don't mean literally beans. What I mean is food, sustenance to keep the family going, to keep the family growing, and to sustain that family. So fe, familia, y frijoles, simple concept. So please enlighten me with a comment, or as I like to say, ilumíname con un comentario. Should I start considering putting out content in English to help support and improve the Latino voter turnout, or just keep it in Spanish and keep doing what I'm doing?